Thank you. Well, the winners of this InterToto tie go into the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup. The draw for that is on Friday, and if you get through that, you're in the competition proper. Villa were pegged back twice in the first leg in Denmark, but they remain firm favourites to see off Odense here in Birmingham. 0-0 or 1-1 after 90 minutes would actually do for Villa with their away goals, but they prefer to finish this job in style in front of their own fans on a scorching day in the second city, and there's a big crowd here. Expectations are considerable for the coming season for Aston Villa as Martin O'Neill continues to stamp his mark on this famous old club. No English club has entered the InterToto Cup more than Aston Villa, so it's fitting that the last game in this competition to be played in England is here at Villa Park. UEFA restructuring their qualifying rounds as of next season, so the InterToto Cup, God bless it, will be no more. Villa fans hungry for European football, starving in fact. So there's no place in Aston Villa's starting lineup for Gareth Barry, but he is on the bench. It's the same side that started the first leg, so Stuart Taylor continues in goal as incoming Brad Friedel watches from the stands. There's a home debut for Steve Sidwell, signed for $5 million from Chelsea. He scored a rather unfortunate own goal last week. Better luck this week, perhaps. Villa boasts considerable firepower in Ashley Young, John Carew and Gabby Agbonlahor, and if they're in the mood, they could give the Danish defence a torrid time.
Yeah, I think Ashley Young could be the key today. He'll probably play just where you see him behind Carew and Agbonlahor, or he might play on the left wing. We're not sure yet, but it looks a solid Villa team, and if they play the way they're capable of playing, they'll win this game comfortably, in my opinion. But you know how football is. It's scorching hot out there. Never been so hot.
Gareth Barry was booed for the best part of an hour when he played at Warsaw in midweek. He's on the bench. He might well come on, and it will be interesting to see the reaction he gets, because Martin O'Neill has hinted that he's heard nothing more from Liverpool, and that, who knows, Barry could yet stay. Not many boos around for him as he emerges from the tunnel here. I'm sure the Villa fans will be in forgiving mood if he does stay. There's a bizarre Villa Park return then for Eric Djemba, who spent 2.5 years here but only played 11 times. Senegalese striker Bay Djibi Fall scored 3 goals in the last round of the InterToto and 2 goals in midweek when Odense kicked off their Danish league season. Thomas Helveg played many times with Martin Larsson for Denmark and for Milan. Bjorn Rundstrøm, recently a Fulham start. Morten Bisgaard, once of Derby, is on the bench. Last week's last-minute goalscorer Anders Muller Christensen was injured midweek. He's replaced by Jonas Trust.
I think they'll probably play the same way, 4-4-2. Djemba will definitely make a difference to him. He's a very experienced player, and I think he played well when he came on last week. But this team will be keeping their fingers crossed that Villa play badly. If Villa play well, I think they should roll over them.
So he's back at Villa Park, Eric Djemba, signed by David O'Leary, didn't make much of an impact, and Martin O'Neill soon got rid of him. He was certainly looking rather fired up in the tunnel before the game, as you might expect. Aston Villa, the Premier club in England's second city. The Villa Park season starts here. And a new season always brings fresh hopes and dreams, and Villa fans have plenty of both, with Martin O'Neill in charge of their club. Here's Freddie Baumer. Up towards Carew straight away, and Djemba is sticking close to the giant Norwegian, but here is Agbonlahor, and now Rio Coker. Craig Gardner again playing at right back. Martin O'Neill will surely sign a right back soon, and everyone around Villa Park will be mightily relieved when that happens. Baumer. And Gardner has popped up, and Agbonlahor was in there too, and it's a corner in the opening seconds for Villa.
Yeah, good start for Villa. First cross comes in, and it's a real good one. right to the far post, header back across the goal, could have dropped to a Villa player, but good defending in the end.
Ashley Young has gone across to take this. Villa scored early on in Denmark. Young floating it in. Carew hopeful. It's rescued by Stilian Petrov. Baumer back to Young, who sent the corner in. Young is up against Sorensen, but it's going to be smothered by the keeper Oniszko, who's Polish, and he made some decent saves in the first leg.
Yeah, it was a good cross in the end, but Agbon Lahore, I was just watching his movement in the box there. He's fighting with the centre-back. He's got that hole was there to go into. If he'd have just gone to the far post and then gone in there, he might have found himself on his own. But when you're that big, you don't go fighting big centre-backs.
Andreasen. Thomas Helveg outside of him. Aimed towards Rundstrom. It's going to be mopped up by Martin Larsson, who scored in his homeland last Saturday. Put Villa 2-1 up, but Odense equalised in the last minute.
Good start from Villa, though. I think they look positive. I remember sitting here this time last year when they played Inter Milan at home and run into Milan ragged. It was a great performance, and I think they'll be coming into their fitness now, and you might see a similar performance today, hopefully, anyway.
Baumer's free kick. Sorensen. Intercepted by Gardner, who, although he is a midfielder, does a sturdy job at right back. He's had to, really, because Martin O'Neill has played in that position quite a few times now. Needs must.
Yeah, and they've lost Melberg, who played there, who's a centre-back playing there, and I've been a bit surprised, really, they haven't bought anyone, but I'm sure before the season kicks off, Villa will have a new right back.
Pretty much guaranteed. Djemba. Helveg, 37 years of age now, the veteran Dane who won over 100 caps for his country, many of them alongside Martin Larsson, who he's up against today. And they were together at AC Milan as well. Djemba. Andreasen for Helveg. Djemba. Finding some space and finding Sorensen. This could be promising for Villa. It's sunburst this from Rio Coca, and he's got Ashley Young available. Neither here nor there from Young, though. There should be better to come from him as the afternoon and evening progresses.
Yeah, I think he'll fancy his chances today against Delby. He'll get the wrong side of him, get to the byline and pull balls back. That was not one of his better crosses, but his delivery is normally excellent. Djemba there give an example of what he can do when he gets the ball. Although when they lost it, I watched him, he jogged all the way back. So maybe that's the reason why he's playing for this team in Denmark.
Well, he only signed for them 3 days before the first leg. Came on for the injured Espen Hansen after less than half an hour.
Yeah, there's amazing when you're a midfield player, you can sprint forward, you can sprint back. But it's amazing how many of them can't do that. The best ones can.
Henrik Hansen will take this free kick. He made his Odense debut last week in the first leg and scored in the Danish Superliga, which started in midweek. Odense opened up with a 3-1 win over Vejle. Sorensen then will float this free kick in, and it's met by Martin Larsson. Now Agbon Lahore, one of the most exciting young players in English football, and he's got himself a free kick.
Yeah, it's a big season for him this season. You know, he's stung a lot of people last year with his pace. People taken by surprise by him, but they know him now, and they're going to play against him next season. They'll be saying, well, that's not happening to me again. I'm not getting in a race with Agbon Lahore. He's like lightning. So he has to adjust his game. He has to start coming into the centre circle, laying it and getting in behind people instead of just getting in a race with them.
Baumer has come across to maybe take this. Ashley Young also there. It is left for the left foot of Baumer, and Onisko decides to come for that.
Well, I thought he'd done very well in the first leg. Onisko, you know what he had to do. I don't think he was at fault really for the goals, and he looked a quite capable goalkeeper. Let's see how he gets on today, because I think he'll have a lot to do.
Petrov, the longest throw for Carew. Rundstrom helps it on. And now Henrik Hansen. Here's Absalonson, who certainly caused a few problems for Craig Gardner in the first leg.
No, you know, Absalonson last week, his coach would have been really pleased with him. You know, if you'd have said to that's what you'd ask him when he come off. How many times did he get past the fullback? How many times did he get the byline? I think he was into double figures. So he'll be asking why weren't you on the end of the crosses? So I think he done his job.
Some notable clubs are involved in the InterToto this weekend, along with Aston Villa, the likes of Deportivo and Stuttgart and Napoli. A case of any which way you can, really, to get into Europe. Aston Villa hoping to be in the draw for the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup. Manchester City hoping to be in it too. And those two teams are due to meet on the opening weekend of the Premier League season. So there's a good chance that fixture will switch to the Sunday. Unless neither of them get that far, which seems unlikely. Jemba. Here's Jonas Tröst, who has come in for the injured Anders Moller Christensen. Foul now, and Rundstrom. And it's left for Henrik Hansen, and that was a smart save. Seemed to see it late, Stuart Taylor, and it was well struck by Hansen.
It's a brilliant save. He didn't see it till late. Left hand, strong left hand. It was a great strike. It's gone through legs. It's a great save from Taylor, and that'll do him the world of good with a new goalie sat in the stand.
Yes, Stuart Taylor will be pleased with that, but there's no doubt who will be starting the season in the Premier League between the sticks for Villa. Brad Friedel joining on a 3-year contract today.
Well, from my experience in football, there's not a better man you could have sat in the stand there, just signed for Villa, than the goalkeeper. He's a top goalkeeper. That's a great save, reaction save. It's gone through a couple of sets of legs. He's seen it late. He had no time to move his feet, but his reflexes were excellent.
Brad Friedel, probably the most consistent goalkeeper over recent years in the Premier League. He has completed his move from Blackburn. That's won by Carew, unsurprisingly, and Akbon Lahore has been caught. It's a free kick in a useful position, and an apology from Helveg, who caught him.
Yeah, I thought he got it in the face there, but I think it was just on his shoulder. It's a definite free kick. He's just raised his foot too high, but Ashley Young's got a terrific opportunity here, putting Villa in front.
In front of the Holt end, this would do nicely if Ashley Young could open the scoring. The Turkish referee making sure that Odense's wall is edging back.
If I was in the box there, I'd be thinking, when it comes back off the keeper, I'm there first.
Here comes Ashley Young then. Oh, and it's been diverted wide for a corner. It very nearly went in anyway.
It looked like it was going in. I think it was Troas just got his head on it, but once again, more danger. Ashley Young, Larson, we know how dangerous he is. Villa score lots and lots of goals from set plays. If the delivery's right, he'll get on the end of it.
Ashley Young has earned the corner. He takes it, and ooh, it was taken away from Martin Larson by Jemba. But Villa haven't finished with Odense just yet. Bonlahor. Now foul, the Senegalese striker. Pretty much on his own at the moment, but he's going to get a free kick. And
hamstring.
Bama in considerable agony.
Oh, his knee. He's broke his leg.
Oh dear.
It's horrendous.
Oh, that is horrific.
At first I thought he pulled his hamstring, but you can clearly see it's a horrific injury.
Martin O'Neill's best laid plans wrecked by a terrible injury here. His teammates are in shock.
Well, his foot's facing the other way, and when you're out on the pitch and you see something like that, it really is sickening, especially one of your mates.
Well, they will take their time about this, but it's a terrible blow.
Yeah, he was holding the back of his leg as if he'd pulled his hamstring, and it didn't look much, but he's obviously flipped over on his ankle.
Well, it's going to mean an early introduction for Gareth Barry.
And that's a crushing blow for Villa, because I would say he's one of the most consistent players they've had over the last couple of years. And to lose him this close to the start of the season, you can see Martin O'Neill's face there. He's devastated. Not as devastated as the lad's going to be, but
you can see the reaction amongst all the Villa camp, can't you?
Well, you just hope that, I mean, it looks like his ankle's dislocated, but you just hope that all the damage that goes with something like that is not too bad.
A horrendous injury for Freddie Baumer. And Gareth Barry, whose future remains uncertain, is going to come on, but not in the circumstances that he would have wished, not remotely. So the Villa fans have turned up in numbers, distraught that their already small squad will be stretched a little again until Martin O'Neill gets some more signings in. Gareth Barry being applauded. It wasn't the case for some of the game at Walsall in midweek, but they seem to go easy on him after a while in that match.
Well, it's a bit like a marriage, you know. Once you indicate you're prepared to leave the marriage, then it gets a bit bitter and twisted, doesn't it? And you know, some people weren't very happy about it, which is understandable. But he's been here 10 years. They know he's a loyal servant to the club, and you know, you see sense after a while. And I think if they keep clapping him, he might stay.
Well, Martin O'Neill is going to bring Gareth Barry on in place of Baumer, who has stretched it away. And Villa Park rises to applaud him. Terrific last season. And the Villa fans urging Gareth Barry to stay. And Martin O'Neill said that he hasn't heard much from Liverpool, so it could happen, he could stay. He's certainly been a class act for this club over many years.
Well, he's a good professional as well, you know, and he's a nice lad. I've met him a number of occasions. We tried to sign him at Blackburn, tried to sign him at Newcastle, so I'm a big fan of his. And you know what you're going to get from him, as well as Sidwell we talked about earlier. You know what you're going to get from Gareth Barry. He's a top-class player, and hopefully he'll stay at Villa for the Villa fans' sake.
Well, here comes Gareth Barry. And there are one or two cheers, but there are much more in the way of cheers for Barry, and he is going to go into Baumer's left-back role, where he has played many a time for Villa, of course, but Martin O'Neill will be distraught along with everyone else here, and we'll try and get an update on Freddie Baumer's condition.
Well, there's one good thing about Gareth Barry. Straight to left-back, you know, he can put him at centre-back, middle of midfield, left wing, you know, he can play anywhere, so that's part of his, you know, the good thing about Gareth Barry if you sign him.
Craig Gardner then. will take this, just making sure that Gareth Barry has got himself sorted out. Well, the Villa players shocked by that injury so early on in this game to Freddie Baumer.
No, well, you totally lose your focus on the game, and you know, everything gets, all the energy is taken out of the game, and you know, 5 or 10 minutes they'll just get back into the swing of it again. But it was a shock for everybody.
The game was held up for just over 4 minutes.
I'm afraid he's going to be out for a very, very long time as well, which is, I mean, he might have to. There's another signing he'll have to make.
Well, a right back has been a long-term need for Villa, and a left back too now, sadly. Villa have got a free kick, and Gareth Barry will take it. Agbon Lahore into the path of Gardner. In fact, it's a bit of a stretch for Gardner. He's done well to get to it. Ashley Young. Blocked by Jemba. Young again. Gardner. Here's Carew up against Haaland. A handball, John Carew.
Yeah, but there's a definite pattern to Villa. I like the way they've set up. There's a definite pattern to the way they play. Sidwell is getting in the box every time the ball goes wide, which he's obviously been told to do. And every player in this Villa team knows that when they get in a crossing position, the ball has to go in as early as possible. And then you know where you are. When you're in the middle and you're trying to make runs, you know the ball's coming in at that particular time. So, you know, they're all on the same wavelength. They will score loads of goals.
Well, only Manchester United and Arsenal scored more goals than Aston Villa in the Premier League last season, which is quite an achievement for Villa. They did leak a few more than they would have wished, mind you. They lost Curtis Davies at a crucial time of the season.
Martin O'Neill still looks a bit shell-shocked there on the bench. But he has to, you know, get his mind on the game now and try and get a result out of this for Villa.
Wilfred Baumer has been taken to hospital. Sorensen.
Ashley Young varies his position a little bit. Yeah, at the moment he's gone right into the middle, in behind the front two, which leaves Helveg free on his own at right back. Here he gets a bit of time and space. He's not using his time as well as he should be, actually. He's turning back all the time. But Young just drifts from left wing into the middle. He causes teams all sorts of problems.
Here is Jemba. And Rio Coker is going to be penalised by the Turkish referee, Cüneyt Kakir.
Well, for me, he's got every right to go for that ball, and he's got his foot to the ball. That's what Rio Coker's about. That's what Sidwell are about. If you make this a non-contact sport, like it's going that way, then these two players, Sidwell and Rio Coker, there's not much there for them. If you can't put a challenge in, I mean, that for me, that's a fair tackle.
Sorensen. Petrov. Haaland. Helveg. Haaland. Rundstrom. Here's Ashley Young. Lahore as Villa look to focus on this game after that horrendous injury for Freddie Baumer. Barry, Agbon Lahore, Ashley Young. Oh, that's right on the edge of the area. Another free kick for Young, which he will no doubt fancy.
Well, it's great play from Young, and it gets people on the edge of their seats. This lad's a really exciting player to watch. I actually love coming to watch him play. He's just driven at the two defenders straight through the gap, and they either bring you down or you go clean through. And there's another opportunity for him there, but he's making them all himself.
Well, it's similar to the last one that he took from this kind of range, which was only just deflected wide. So every reason for Odense to be concerned. Ashley Young tries again, unable to find his range yet.
Well, he's just couldn't get it down. I think he was a bit close to get it up and down, and it's an art in itself. Like Sir David Beckham and Ronaldo, they make it look easy, but you can stand there. We have done over the years. You stand there practicing them after training, and it's a very difficult skill.
This is the third time Odense have faced English opponents in European competition. They lost to Liverpool in 1983 and Arsenal in 1993. On both those occasions, Liverpool and Arsenal went on to win the competitions they were in. So a nice little omen for Villa if they get past the Danes today. That's cute from Gareth Barry for Ashley Young. It's intercepted though by Trust. Young again. And that's neat for Gareth Barry. It's a good challenge from Andreasen, but it is a Villa corner.
That's terrific play. And, you know, you're going about Gareth Barry there. He's in the left-back area. Ashley Young makes the run down the channel, and he knows the ball's coming. Great pass into his path from Barry, and eventually they get a crossing again. That's about 8 or 9 crosses they've got in, Villa, so keep doing that, they'll get a goal.
Was that Knight having an obvious threat, but it's gone above him, and Steve Sitwell tried to force it in, but I think there's a free kick being given.
Push on the keeper. Yeah, Carew thought he'd scored there. I'm not so sure whether it was a foul. No, I can't understand what he's giving there. I can't see anything there. Carew's just held his ground. It's never a foul.
It's 7 years since Aston Villa last played in the UEFA Cup, and they didn't hang around particularly long that time. Lost to the Croatian side Vartex. Thomas Helveg surviving a stumble. Header from Larsson. Another one from Jemba, and Rundstrom nearly putting foul away, but Martin Larsson has the situation under control, although he's given Stuart Taylor a bit of work to do. Taylor raging.
Well, he's raging at Larsson there. He's saying you should just put your left foot through it and put it in Rose head. Fizzing a ball across the 6-yard box there to him. He's probably right.
Helve. Rio Coca now. Carew up against Sorensen.
Throw's gone the other way, but you can see the pattern there again, Ian. They get the ball, the striker's mate runs into the channels, they play it down the channels, they hold it up, lay back, cross. Sidwell gets in the box. And that's the pattern of play, and if you've got a pattern of play, you've got a chance of some success. If you're just playing off the cuff every week, it's just good luck.
Well, in the mid-90s, one of the early entrants in the InterToto Cup, Bordeaux, went all the way to the UEFA Cup final, so that's some incentive for Aston Villa. They still have a qualifying round to get through before they go into the first round proper. And they've still got Odense to get past, of course, but 0-0 would actually be enough for them after 90 minutes with their away goals. Not that they'll want to make it that uncomfortable in the searing heat. Petrov. Bon Lahore. Only Carew up with him at the moment, but Sidwell is making up ground to get into the box. It's going to be another corner. And Jonas Trust stopping out Bon Lahore in his tracks.
That's great defending. You know, he kept his eye on the ball. He knows Agbon Lahore's got real pace. He's kept low to the ground and waited for his opportunity. Great challenge.
(4-0) to Villa on corners. Can they make it 1-0 on goals? Ashley Young again.
Odense are having a problem in general play. Andreassen's playing far too narrow infield. And when it gets to Helvig, he's got no one to pass to him outside. There's no one outside him where he can just roll the ball, which suits Villa because Ashley Young's not having to run the width of the pitch. He's able to stay in that inside left position, save his legs for going forward.
Here's Sidwell, always rising though.
He had a similar chance last week in the first leg. Ball coming across his right foot. You just have to keep your head down here and don't snatch. He's just not timed that well enough, and he's got, you know, he's come off the outside of his foot and gone wide.
Well, the coach of Odense is a legend in Denmark, Lars Olsen, captained his country to European Championship glory, somewhat surprisingly, as it turned out, in 1992. His predecessor at Odense was a former Villa player, Bruce Rioch.
He'll probably have a good speech to the players. Don't talk to me about training. We come off the beach and won the European Championship.
Exactly.
If your attitude's right, you can win anything.
Here's Carew, now Young. He's toying with Odense at the moment, Young. He's not going to get a free kick there, though, off Rundstrom. And now here's Fowl, and he's in. GB Fowl with a great chance, and he's not taken it. Villa very fortunate to survive that. Odense should have been one up, but Fowl, who's been amongst the goals a lot lately, wasn't then.
Well, it's a difference in the standard of player, but Zach Knight gets caught out terribly. It's good play from Fowl. He goes short and spins in behind Zach Knight, and he's caught him. He's in through on the keeper, scuffed it with his left foot into the ground. Wasn't a clean strike at all, but fortunately for Villa, it's the post and comes away.
That is a major let-off for Villa.
Zach's got caught there on his left foot. It's a scruffy finish. I mean, if that's a top Premier League striker, I would imagine that would be nestled in the bottom corner. It's come off the post. Fortunate for Villa.
Well, he scored 3 goals in the last round of the InterToto. He scored twice in midweek when the Danish league kicked off. And he should have put Aston Villa behind then. Stilian Petrov. Gareth Barry. Petrov. Coco warned by a good few thousand that there was a man on. That night for John Carew. Cross comes Haaland, who played with Carew. They were teammates at Vålerenga in Norway. Coco stayed on his feet, but is unable to pick out Sidwell. Gareth Barry, who has replaced the injured Freddie Baumer, who has broken his leg. Ashley Young. Gareth Barry. Here's Jonas Trust will mop up.
No, it's not you know, he's trying to chest that to Agbon Lahore, but at least they're trying to play with each other. They're trying to, you know, play little 1-2s, and round the corner they're looking to play with each other. I thought last week they played a little bit too far apart. It's much better.
A stumble from Sorensen. Carew.
Here's an example again of Elvig not having anyone to pass to outside him. Andreassen's too narrow. And Elvig, for an experienced player, he should be dominating Andreassen and tell him where he wants him. And if he's not careful, he's going to cost him the game.
Here's Rundstrom, who spent a couple of years at Fulham, although only made a couple of appearances for them. Was loaned out to Luton, and Fulham let him go at the end of last season. They do have a few familiar names in their squad. Mads Tim, who was at Manchester United, although he's been out injured for a long time. And Morten Bisgaard, who was at Derby, he's on the bench.
The injury to Boma's just knocked a little bit of the stuffing out of the game. The atmosphere's gone. Villa have lost a little bit of spark early on. They started well, and they're in a bit of difficulty here. You know, they're starting to look like they can score, this team.
It's Henrik Hansen to deliver this, and it's a good punch from Stuart Taylor. And Ashley Young has got Gabby Agbon Lahore with him, and Young now is roaring through the middle. Had to make sure he stayed onside. Agbon Lahore knew as much. Instead he's found Sidwell, but it's slithered slightly away. Rio Coca, Petrov. Barry. Carew. He's not giving up easily. John Carew. And Odense struggling to dig it out. Gareth Barry. Cleared by Truest. Here's foul. They missed that great chance to put Odense in front.
That's good strike play from Foul. He's got a long clearance up to him, and all your manager asks you to do there is just try and keep hold of the ball so we can get out of our own half, and he sacked the foul out of the Villa players, and they're off and running.
Helveg, and if anything, Foul took it away from his own man, Rundstrom. Well, plenty of pre-season action on Setanta Sports for you, and on Monday night we're at Carrow Road. Tottenham go there to take on Norwich, 7:30, Setanta Sports 1. Hansen, Absalonson, and we certainly haven't seen as much of him in the second leg as we did in the first. Craig Gardner foraging forward. Seemed to have been clipped then by Jemba, but he'll get a throw at least.
Well, Petrov's not really dominating the game for me. You know, Sidwell's the one that's getting forward, but Petrov should be getting the ball from Gardner and getting it out to Ashley Young out the other side and dominating the game. He's not really got in it.
Gardner's long throw. Here is Petrov, now Sidwell. It's away by Andreasen. Martin Larsson rising with GB Foul. Here is Absalonson, now Rundstrom. And Zat Knight has sorted him out. Here's Haaland. Odense were pretty big, and Stuart Taylor has to use his head there. Pretty big in the 70s and 80s, Odense, under Richard Müller-Nielsen, who went on to coach Denmark to that European Championship success. They won a couple of titles then, bit of a yo-yo club in the 90s, but have won the Danish Cup a couple of times this decade. Martin Larsson is limping a little now. 31 today, birthday boy.
Perfect age for a centre-back. You know, you've had your fingers burnt by all different situations. You've learnt your trade, and you use your experience to the maximum now at 31.
Well, Hansen has more room than Villa would have liked to have seen him in, but Zat Knight has cleared the cross. Knight or Rio Coker. Bon Lahore up against Truss. He's spun away and he's got Ashley Young, although Young wanted it in front of him rather than behind. And it's going to be another corner.
But, you know, you can't give Ashley Young 15 yards run at me as a right back, especially, you know, Elveg's an international right back, and he's giving Ashley Young far too much room. And it's going to cost him eventually.
Martin Larsson scored in the first leg in his home country. Lurking again as Ashley Young floats it in. And Anishko got something on it. And in fact, there's been another free kick given.
Well, Anishko's, what he's had to do today, he's done well. You know, he's played well in the home leg for them, and everything he's been asked to do so far, he's done. Villa not really firing at the moment.
We do seem to make some decent keepers in Poland.
We're not going to on about that one at Wembley again, are we? Still on about that one.
I wasn't going
Tomaszewski, was it Tomaszewski?
Yeah.
Come again.
Carew. Gardner. Carew. Stopped by Sorensen, who's got help from Absalansen.
Different game for Absalansen today. You've not seen him taking Gardner on or getting him behind him. I think it's a bit of both. Villa have sort of prepared for it, and they've been unable to play through Villa and get the ball out to him.
Helveg presented it to his good friend Martin Larsson. Odense did actually get through to the group stage of the UEFA Cup a couple of years ago, and they beat the then German leaders Hertha Berlin, but they couldn't find a way through the group. Absalansen chasing this, but Rio Coker covering.
Well done, Rio Coker.
Terrific from Rio Coker, and it's set up by Bon Lahore. Sidwell's getting into the box. Bon Lahore held up though by Haaland, not for long though. Bon Lahore and Sidwell was waiting for the pullback, but it did not reach him. Another corner of Haaland.
He's just not sharp enough there. I mean, the pass was on for a couple of seconds before he delivers it. He does brilliantly there, Agbon Lahore. You get now, just waits, and the chance is gone.
Frustrating for Villa. Steve Sidwell got into a perfect position. And Gareth Barry applauded by some Villa fans. A hint of a boo or two, but he takes this corner and John Carew wins it, but there's still no sign of a goal.
Is that 10 corners? I think it's 10. You can't do that when you're playing against Aston Villa. I mean, last year they proved it. Larsson gets on the end of things, Carew gets on the end of things, and that's 10 corners without a goal. That's not happened very often at Villa Park.
Into the final 5 minutes of the first half, but of course there's going to be a fair amount of time added on after Freddie Baumo was stretchered off with what looks like a horrific leg break. Blackburn took part in the InterToto last year and they came unstuck against the little-known Greek side Larissa. Absalanson hurt as he tangled with Gardner.
Well, I don't think there was anything in it. He's trod on him on the way over him, but I think Gardner had his eye on the ball. They both collided, and when he started running, the only thing he could do was probably step on him. I don't think there was any venom in it.
Rundstrom hasn't kept it in. Villa throw. Odense had to play in the last round of the InterToto as well. They overcame the Turkish side, TPS Turku, whilst Olsen's side winning 4-1 on aggregate. Martin O'Neill guided Celtic to the UEFA Cup final. He would dearly love to repeat that feat, go all the way with Aston Villa. Absalanson, Sorensen, Petrov, Rundstrom and Foul crash in, and Petrov loses out, and Jemba shakes off Petrov.
And Andreessen's gone in too narrow again. I mean, Jemba looked this way, no pass on.
That's a little too long for a GB foul.
Yeah, but, you know, I don't blame the manager or Andreessen. I blame Thomas Helvig at right back. You know, as a manager, you need an extension out there on the pitch, and it's normally your experienced players. He's more experienced than anybody. He should be telling Andreessen, get on the touchline. We're coming this way. Or he gets round the outside of him. He's doing neither.
Well, he's 37 now, Helveg, 108 caps for Denmark.
He looks 47 today.
Rio Coca. Gardner. Mistake from Trust. Here's John Carew spinning, but not scoring.
It's a great chance. He's made it himself. Great turn for a big fella. He's anticipated that great turn there. Just snatched a little bit of the chance, didn't really know where he is. Sometimes you don't. When you do a turn like that, you don't really know where the goal is. Exactly, and he's dragged it wide.
Well, he's a man who scored 18 times in the ultimate European competition, the Champions League, so he was slumming it a bit last week when he scored in the opening goal in Denmark in the InterToto.
Well, he's proven that, and last year he surprised a few defenders how quick he was. I mean, I watched him play against Birmingham at Villa Park near the end of last season, and he tore him to shreds with his pace. I was totally surprised. I must say he never had a kick against Wales or at Wrexham.
I'm sure that's right.
3-0 it was.
Martin Larsson having a word with Cüneyt Kakir, the Turkish referee. Free kick, promising position for Odense in the last minute of the first half. And Villa won't want anything to go horribly wrong here. Sorensen leaves it. Hansen it is to float it in, and Stuart Taylor, toiling, had to turn it over.
It's a poor free kick. It's gone probably 10 yards from where he was aiming it. Taylor had to see it over the bar. He was quite comfortable for him. But, you know, there's a minute to go. You've got Mark your man tight here. Do not concede a goal in the last minute. The number of goals are scored in this minute of a half is unbelievable. Lack of concentration.
4 minutes of stoppage time after Baumer's injury. It's going to be another corner for Chris Sorensen to float in. Anxious for Villa. Sorensen tries again, but handy when you've got Carew back there helping out. Jemba, Henrik Hansen. Chris Sorensen still available, having taken the corner, but Hansen goes back to Helveg. And Gareth Barry aiming to release Ashley Young, and Rio Coker is bursting alongside. And Ashley Young couldn't find a way through to him. It was Jonas Tröst in the way.
Just needed to pick his head up as he was running with it. But it's easy from here, you know, where his point of view, running with the ball there, he just didn't see it. We could see it.
Larson. Petrov. Gareth Barry. Sidwell. He was never going to have too much time. Cross came Absalonson. Here he is again, seeing if he's going to get more joy on this side, the winger. Foul. Rundstrom. Absalonson. Helveg. A giant frame of Zat Knight in his way. And now John Carew. Only Agbon Lahore in the middle. But Ashley Young is making a run, and Carew has found him. Ashley Young trying to take the long way around, though.
His touch let him down. He tried to move it onto his left foot, and he's just overrun it. But it's poor defending to start with. Letting Carew running behind you like that, you know he's quick. Why get so tight to him? Carew's eventually got the ball, laid it to Ashley Young, and his touch has let him down.
Helveg. Andreasen.
First time he's got wide, Andreasen. Look what happens to Ashley Young. He has to run all the way back. It's the first time he's done it.
Still another minute of stoppage time remaining in this first half.
I would say I don't think people who are watching the game fully understand how hot it is at the stadium. I've never been so hot, I don't think, at a football match. Difficult for the players out there.
Young. A free kick for Villa, and they might be able to conjure up the last chance of the half. Martin Larsson is going to go forward. Scored 6 times last season. Is that Knight lurking as well? Showing interest. Ashley Young floats it in, but it's far too near the keeper Anisco, and that is that as far as the first half is concerned. Hard work in the heat for Martin O'Neill's men just now, and the first half really overshadowed by a shocking injury to Freddie Baumer, who it seems has broken his leg. Best chance of the half came to the Senegalese striker Djiby Fall, who got away from Zat Knight here, and he really should have scored, but it bounced off the post, much to Villa's immense relief. 0-0 would do Villa, of course, but they'll be keen to go out in some style. Martin O'Neill's men have work to do, though, because at half-time at Villa Park, it is Aston Villa 0, Odense 0. Yes, a big turnout from the Villa fans in the glorious sunshine in the city of Birmingham today. But their team toiling to dispose of Odense, although 0-0 would be good enough to get them through on away goals, as would 1-1. But the longer it goes on 0-0, the more nervous it might get for Villa, Dean.
Well, yeah, if it gets to the last 10 minutes, the problem is you haven't got, and they score, you haven't got time to hit back. So Villa will try and put it to bed. I'm sure they'll come out, Martin O'Neill will have a word at half-time. They'll try and come out fighting a bit more high-pressure football. press in from everybody over the pitch, try and win the ball in their half and get some efforts at goal.
Eric Jemba making an unlikely return to Villa Park with his new club Odense. Played in the Middle East last season in Qatar. He was originally brought into English football by Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United, but didn't get much of a look in there either before moving to Villa and then on to Burnley briefly.
I'd like to know what that was. Where you see what he done as he came on the pitch and just he crossed himself and just a little hop over the line. I don't know whether he's superstitious about stepping on the lines.
Quite possibly. Superstitious bunch of footballers, isn't he? Gareth Barry called upon early as a substitute today, but in horrible circumstances really. Freddie Baumer stripped it off with a broken leg. Villa are going to need their fans behind them if they are to see off the Danes. And Gareth Barry will play his part, even though his future remains unclear.
Need a quick start now, Ian. They need to come out of the traps. Nearest man close the ball. Let's put some pressure on them early on. Let's see if we can force a goal in the first 10 minutes, and then we can have a cruise through the rest of the game.
Won't surprise you to hear, Dean, that Thomas Helveg has been replaced at half-time. The veteran Dane goes off, and on comes Espen Ruud, who is making his debut. He only joined Odense early this month from the Norwegian side Grenland. Got into the Norwegian national squad last season, though.
Well, he's obviously a promising young player, and I thought Helvig he was either injured or, you know, carrying a knock, because he didn't look himself. Either that or his age is catching up with him. But this young boy looks promising, so it's a perfect time to give him a game. So
one change for Odense, and Villa, of course, forced into that change in the first half after Baumer's shocking injury. Here's Chris Sorensen back for Haaland, who, like Martin Larsson, is celebrating his 31st birthday today. And we hear that Thomas Helveg does have a calf problem. That's why he's been replaced.
There's a few players had an Ashley Young calf strain last season.
Too right.
He is rapid, and when he gets a bit head of steam up, he is very, very difficult to play against, especially when you're 37.
Aston Villa go to Reading next week for a friendly. They kick off their Premier League campaign against Manchester City here. By then, both those teams could be in the UEFA Cup second qualifying round, which would mean that Premier League opener switching to the Sunday.
See, they've got Villa to drop in John Carew back on Jemba.
Larsson having to make sure that goes behind with foul in close attendance.
Sorry, and they drop in Carew or Agbonlahor, drop on Jemba, try and stop him getting the ball. They let their back four have the ball, but they stop Jemba getting on the ball. And they wait and wait and wait, and when the time's right, someone gives the signal and they all start pressing. I'd like to see Petrov getting in the game more. He's a good footballer, but he's not stamping his personality on the game. You wouldn't know. If you just turned up to watch the game, you wouldn't know he was a full international.
Villa fans have been waiting a while for him to do that, but anyway, here's GB foul. And that's cut out by Gareth Barry. Espen Ruud with the centre, the man who's come on for the injured Helveg. Espen Ruud's long throw, Andreassen's flick, and here is Rundstrom, and Zat Knight has to poke it behind. In fact, it's going to go Villa's way.
They've got away with, Rio Coca's got away with absolute murder there. It's a long throw, you can see this sat up for it. Watch the top of the pitch, he lets his man run off him, the 11. On a bad day, that ball drops to him. Luckily, they've got away with it, but it was Rio Coca's man who nearly got him the end of it.
Is that night clipped by Rundstrom, hence a free kick for Villa. It's a foul by John Carew on Eric Jemba.
We need a goal, don't we, to kick the game into life. I mean, this Danish team will probably just be trying to keep things tight and hope in the last half an hour they can nick something, and things are going to plan for them.
Here's Martin Larsson, Villa's own Great Dane, and that will be a free kick for Carew as Jonas Trust wrapped himself around the Norwegian.
Yeah, he's having problems with Carew. He doesn't know whether to get tight with him. I think, personally, I would tell him not to get so tight. He's a big, strong man, and you're getting stuck to him like glue. Can't see the ball. You're going to end up fouling him.
Another free kick for Ashley Young. Martin Larsson and Zap Knight will join John Carew, Steve Sidwell and Gabby Agbonlahor in the box. And the Villa fans are making a bit of noise as Ashley Young floats it in, and Zap Knight made contact. But Odense could break away themselves, although Craig Gardner's covering. He's only held up Absalanson temporarily. Gareth Barry there, though, to contend with now.
Well, it's a great chance. I've watched Zach Knight for a long time now, and he gets in there. He's a giant of a man. And I've been saying all along, just hit the target. He's hit the target there, and the goalkeeper just happens to be stood in the right place. And either side of him, it's a goal. Great delivery from Ashley Young.
Chris Sorensen preparing a long throw. It comes back to Sorensen. Looking for some support, but there weren't too many offers. And Agbonlahor got to it first, and now Rio Coker for Young. Villa bursting away with Ashley Young. Can he make it happen? That is fantastic! Ashley Young is Villa's man of the moment. Just what they needed early in the second half as they plot a route through to the UEFA Cup. A stunner.
What a goal, and that's what makes him such an exciting player. That's what you pay your money for. He drops his shoulder inside Jemba, bang, top corner. You can't stop them. And what an introduction for the young right-back Ruud. He's not read the situation. He just drops his shoulder there. One thought in his mind, bang. What a strike. No chance for the keeper.
A blistering blast from Ashley Young, who scored 4 goals in his last 5 games of last season, carrying on from where he left off.
Yeah, and he's just shouting across his teammates there, I couldn't breathe, I can't breathe. It is hot out there, but he had enough in his legs there to actually do the skill and have some venom in the strike.
Villa 3-2 up on aggregate now. But that will certainly settle Villa Park down.
Normally when you're watching players, you'll be the same as me. We watch players, and I find myself saying to myself, would I like to play against him? You know, different players. I wouldn't like to play against Ashley Young, especially at right back. He's one of them players that can finish your career in 45 minutes.
Here's Ashley Young. Sorensen. Absalanson. Andreasen and Espen Ruud is on the overlap. Away by Martin Larsson. Well, it was a game crying out for something special, and Ashley Young certainly provided that. Cracking goal.
It's funny how things work, though. Helveg goes off. Jemba finds himself in the right back area, and you know, they scored a goal from it. So
here is Jemba, Andreasen, and Ashley Young intercepting that pass for Ruud, doing defensive duty too. And here's Agbonlahor. He's only got Haaland with him at the moment. It's Steve Sidwell.
Well, he's made the effort. He's run 60 yards to get on the end of that. Well done, Agbonlahor. On another day, that goes in. It's a pretty good strike. I would have just liked to see Agbonlahor drop his shoulder, just like Ashley Young's just done. He's got the fella squared up in the box. He's quicker than him. Drop, go to the left, come back on your right foot, smack.
Steve Sidwell has already played much more European football this season than he did last season. Only saw 6 minutes of Champions League action with Chelsea.
He's got a good attitude. That's the main thing. When he's signing footballers, if you're signing someone with a good attitude, you're halfway there.
Well, there's no shame at being down the pecking order at Chelsea, but he was outstanding for Reading in his 4 years there. Haaland. Trust. Larsson. Strong in the challenge with Jemba. Agbon Lahore holds off Rundstrom. Here's the goal scorer, and what a goal. Rio Coker for Craig Gardner. Henrik Hansen. Sidestepping Sidwell. And that's cut out by Rio Coker.
He's done well, Rio Coker. He's playing out of position. He wouldn't enjoy playing on the right wing, but he's playing quite narrow. And he's using his physical strength, which is probably his best asset, is his power and strength, and just getting on with it. Another one showing a good attitude.
Sidwell. Rundstrom. Now Martin Larsson. Here's Rio Coker. Gardner. Larsson. Gareth Barry. Carew. Nearly fell kindly for Gareth Barry. Hint of handball, but the Turkish referee allows Villa to carry on. Foul by Stilian Petrov on GB foul.
Not sure whether that's a foul either, but good patient build-up from Villa. Once again, what's noticeable, when the ball goes into a wide area, there's no overplaying, there's no too many passes, the ball comes into the box. Everybody knows what's going on.
Jemba. Rundstrom. Espen Ruud. One goal, of course, would not be enough for Odense. Away goals would still suit Villa, but the Danes have a corner.
Everybody has to pick up now and concentrate. You've got a man, don't let him score. Without actually bringing him down, you've got to stick to him like glue.
Chris Sorensen will float this in. Away by Larsson. That's probably going to be a yellow card, I would think. And Agbon Lahore reacting as Absalanson is booked for tugging Sidwell back. He's running away and he's going to be summoned back. Johan Absalanson.
I think over the two games he's probably been their best player, had the biggest impact. He's shown he's annoyed they're getting beat, It's not good to get booked, but at least he's shown a bit of spirit. He's overstepped the mark a little bit, but at least he cares.
Offside here against Carew. Let's get an update on the condition of Wilfred Baumer from our man down in the touchline area, Daryl Curry.
Thank you, Croxwell. The news is Wilfred Baumer has dislocated rather than broken his ankle. He received no treatment in the ground. He was taken straight to a local hospital. Team doctor Roddy McDonald was with him. He's back at the stadium now. He's confirmed that injury. That's the early indication. Of course, that's a massive blow. Curtis Davis is out injured. Melberg's away from the club. Perhaps Martin O'Neill needs Gareth Barry more than ever now. Back to you.
And here's Agbon Lahore. And now Ashley Young.
Well, we're not experts on medical side of things, but you know, my first thought there was it's not as bad. You know, he hasn't broke it. We thought he broke his leg in a couple of places, but he's dislocated it, which is not good. And it's obviously a lot of ligament damage there. But
here's John Carew, who never really had it under control, and Jonas Trust was able to find his keeper.
But hopefully he makes a speedy recovery. Very sad for the boy. He's a good player, good pro.
Jemba snuffed out by Carew. Approaching the hour mark. It's very hot in Birmingham today. But Villa have the lead, and as it stands, they will be going into the draw for the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup. More on that in a moment, because here's foul. And now Jemba. Getting the treatment from some Villa fans who didn't really see too much of him when he was here for 2.5 years, when he played 11 times. Had more fun off the pitch, allegedly. Jemba. Up against Gareth Barry.
It's good work from Jemba. Again, he shows touches of class. At least they're having a go, you know, they're trying to put some pressure on Villa now and get back into the game. Villa just need to get the ball back off them and keep it, and pass, play two-touch, use the full width of the pitch and make them run.
Odense actually reached the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup back in the mid-90s. Famously, they beat Real Madrid en route to doing so in the Bernabeu. They won 2-0, the decisive goal scored by Morten Bisgaard, who's on the bench today, back at the club. Former Derby player. Henrik Hansen looking for Johan Absalonsen, but Craig Gardner was always likely to marshal that behind.
It's a decent run from Absalonsen again. Fall held the ball up. Nothing come of it.
Well, this is worth another look.
This is brilliant. He's teeing the defender up here, drops his shoulder, Jemba falls to the dummy, and his pace just gets him inside him, and that strike is what you practice in training, and he's middled it. No spin on the ball, straight in the top corner. No chance for the keeper.
Top class from Ashley Young. It's made the difference at Villa Park, and it means that Odense have to score twice.
They're really exciting forward line, I think they've got, Villa. Carew is a little bit different to the other two, but Agbon Lahore can catch pigeons. Ashley Young can. They just need someone on this right-hand side and relieve Rio Coca of playing out of position, really.
Sidwell, one of 3 players who have been purchased in the summer. Rio Coca, Sidwell, Agbon Lahore, over and out.
Oh, it's a snap chance, and he's a little bit unlucky. He's took the ball lovely in his path. He takes it with the outside of his right foot, swiveled on it, they can fly in the bottom corner. He's just lifted it. It's just bounced awkwardly for him, and he's just lifted it. But you know, it was good play. Showed a bit of class, turning with it and smacking it.
Carew up against Trust. Now Rio Coca. It's going to be a corner off Sorensen.
Well, I've lost count how many corners they've had. But you're giving Larson a chance to score. A lot of the 6 goals he scored last season were winners, by the way.
Well, Gareth Barry gets a big round of applause from the Villa fans as he goes across to take this.
1-0 up now. Get a bigger clap.
Barry delivers. It's off the head of foul. And easily taken by Onisko. Popped back by Petrov, and it's reached Barry, who was still coming back, having taken the corner. He's shrugged off Absalonson, and that's tidy for Sidwell. Ashley Young. They always got past Sorensen. Young trying to make it happen to Villa again, with a few tricks along the way.
Yeah, it's really positive. Again, that's all you want from him. Go at defenders. If you lose it, it doesn't matter. And again, go at them.
He's got that Agbon Lahore, but he won't use him. He's flicked it in towards Carew, and Sidwell was crashing in as well.
Gets people on the edge of their seats. Strikers running at defenders.
Gardner short to Agbon Lahore, and Gardner will get a free kick off Absalonson.
Zach Knight makes his way forward. Larson's not going up for this one. Like to see Zach Knight score one of these, give him a bit of belief, because he goes up every week. Never seems to score a goal, but he's definitely capable of doing it. He just needs to get a couple, and all of a sudden he believes he's going to score.
Ashley Young, delightful delivery, and John Carew's header just would not cross that line.
They are dangerous from set plays. I mean, you keep giving fouls away like that. That's a fantastic ball in. He's really unlucky, Carew, and how unlucky is that when it comes off the bar? Larson, who's up there anticipating. Well done, the goalkeeper.
That's a great fist away by Onisko before Larson could pounce.
If Larson had got there a fraction quicker, he would have scored, but he might have punched his head off.
Villa way ahead as far as goal attempts are concerned. Just the one goal though, and it was a beauty from Ashley Young. It should secure Villa a place in the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup, and if they get through that, they're in the UEFA Cup proper. Incidentally, Manchester City should also be in that qualifying round if they come through their tie against the team from the Faroes. Of course, they won't obviously meet each other. Craig Gardner. Carew. Gardner's cross, an easy catch for Onisko.
Once again, first opportunity, the ball goes into the box. They don't turn back with it and go out and out across the back and out the other side. When you get in them positions, Martin O'Neill demands the ball goes into the box at the earliest opportunity.
Absalonson. Here's GB foul. Henrik Hansen looking to run onto that.
There's a lot of football on Setanta Sports.
just get it away from Rio Coca. He kept it in. Absalonson. Martin Larsson penalised against his fellow countryman. Sorensen. Screened by Petrov. Gardner. Up to Carew. Espen Ruud, the Norwegian, making his debut for Odense. On as a second half sub for Helveg. Sorensen. It's met by Zat Knight. Craig Gardner shows interest. Rio Coca. Bon Lahore just losing out to Trust.
You know, it'd be interesting to see what Martin O'Neill does in the next few weeks. He prides himself on having a tight ship. You know, you've got to work hard, otherwise you don't play for him. He's got players with good attitudes on the pitch. They're a small squad. You know, they need some players. They need some more players. And you see the crowd is like 75% full here today. A couple of more exciting signings. This place is going to be full.
There's no doubting Aston Villa's potential. Couple of changes coming for Odense. They're going to bring on the former Derby player Morten Bisgaard and also the Costa Rican international Christian Bolanos. Hansen, Absalonson. It's going to be a corner for Odense off Sidwell.
Absalonson, good work again. I mean, he can be proud of himself over the two legs. He's a decent player, left-sider. Sure there'll be a few looking at him today.
It's Henrik Hansen's corner. Craig Gardner actually cleared that ahead of Zat Knight. And the free kick has gone the way of Villa, who are a goal to the good. And what a good goal it was from Ashley Young.
Terrific. I mean, I think the lad's got endless potential. You know, I think he'll be playing for England next year. His pace is unstoppable at times. He's direct. You know, he wants to go at people. His attitude seems very, very good. He's prepared to run back and defend. He can play up front as well. So, really exciting times for Villa. As I said, if they sign a couple more exciting players, the players will be sold out.
Martin O'Neill will be aiming to do just that. Needs a right back, of course, and needs a left back now to cover for the injured Baumer. Rio Coca. Gardner. Sidwell had moved into the box with Carew. Rio Coca working tirelessly. Ashley Young's cross, away by Trust.
Once again, early delivery from Gardner and Young. No messing around, ball's coming in. So Sidwell can make runs knowing the ball's coming in.
Here is Sidwell. Is he going to have a pop? Yes, he is. Oh, and it's spilled by Anisco. And Carew unable to capitalise.
It's really, really, really unlucky from Carew. His speed of thought is excellent. His speed of thought gets him so many goals. Just watch Carew. Sidwell's got a good strike, but Carew, first to react, he's there first. Unlucky. Goalkeeper's done well, made it awkward for him.
A standing ovation for Ashley Young as he goes across to take this corner. He did provide the highlight of the game, a wonderful goal. Young's corner now, and Steve Sidwell connecting.
Another good delivery. Ashley's delivery's been a lot better this half than the first half. I think he's been right on the button. Of course, you got Gareth Barry, who also takes a few corners and free kicks, who his delivery's excellent. You know, you've got some players in the box there who want to get on the end of things. Larson definitely goes up to score a goal.
It's John Carew and Akbon Lahore. It's a good challenge from Jonas Trust. Young, Gardner, Petrov, Larson. It's a little wayward.
Simple throw in. They've got nobody in front. Too tight to Carew. Great bit of skill, and that's fantastic. Good block from the defender. That's what you expect from your defenders.
So the Costa Rican who played in the World Cup in 2006, Christian Bolanos, is going to replace Hans Hendrik Andreasen. And they're just holding back on bringing on Morten Bisgaard for now. Bolanos had a trial with Liverpool a few years ago and also nearly joined Charlton. Nearly, but not quite.
I think they're just a team of nearlies, really. You know, they've all got a little story where they've nearly, you know, gone to Man United or gone there and gone there, gone to Derby. Probably they found their level.
Well, that was ambitious. Their coach's famous name in Denmark, Lars Olsen, captained his country 69 times, including in that remarkable European Championship glory year of 1992. Hansen. Aston Villa finished sixth even in the Premier League last season, 5 points behind Everton, who qualified automatically for the UEFA Cup.
Well, in this situation, they've just got to get hold of the ball and pass it. You know, I still think they're giving the ball away cheaply at times, and they've not got it from one side of the pitch, out the back, out the other side.
So far, Martin O'Neill has brought in Steve Sidwell and the two American keepers, Brad Friedel from Blackburn and the younger variety, Brad Guzan, who is due to have his application for a work permit heard on Friday. John Carew. Brad Friedel completing a move from Blackburn today, signing a 3-year deal. And a terrific signing indeed for Aston Villa, who of course lost Thomas Sorensen in the summer and Scott Carson, who was on loan here last season.
Great signing for Villa, big loss for Blackburn. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people up there very disappointed.
Here's Petrov. No sign yet of any further changes from Martin O'Neill.
I would have thought, you know, Martin, looking at the squad, looking at the bench, I'd go as far as to say he might need 5 or 6 players. Probably 3 top shelfers and 3 who he knows what he's going to get out of, but I think probably 6. You know, they lost a couple of defenders. You've got Petrov and Sidwell in the middle of the pitch. Rio Coker can play in there. Might need another midfield player. Definitely need a right-sider. Definitely need a right-back.
Well, he has got Curtis Davis to come back as well after his injury, and that could be as early as September, earlier than they first felt.
Well, that'd be a bonus, you know, losing Malberg, an experienced player. He had a good season last season. He's difficult to replace, along with Gareth.
Akbon Lahore creates an opening. Just wide.
Well, he's unlucky. At least his mind's thinking. You know, he's not just hit the laces out of it. He's actually thinking what he's trying to do here. He's pushed it inside. He's trying to bend it in the bottom corner. Just started it a little bit too wide, but that's good play. Dropped his shoulder, skinned the defender. Goalie had it covered, but I like his thinking.
Scored 11 goals last season. Akbon Lahore, his best return. He's only 21, local boy, and he was on the bench for England at the end of the season. And they played Trinidad and Tobago and the USA.
Yeah, he's just got to learn now. He's played against all these players last year, getting in a race, playing on the last man. He's got to learn now, how can I change my game? How do I get better? And that's coming short and running in behind, instead of just running in behind all the time.
Espen Ruud for Bolanos, the Costa Rican international. Rundstrom, handball, not given. Ashley Young with a spectacular clearance, enjoying his day. And Jemba with a rather forceful challenge. Akbon Lahore able to smile about it.
That's his strength. He just used his body strength. It was a definite foul. He's played the man. One signed by Manchester United, and then Aston Villa. He's obviously not a dud. He's a decent player.
This is how to defend, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what he's prepared to do. That though, he's back in there. He's back in his own corner flag, scoring him at one end. He's really fit.
Into the last 10 minutes of Villa Park. Odense need to score twice. One goal not enough. Henrik Hansen. It's come off that night into the path of Ashley Young. Bolanos quickly upon him. I think that might be a free kick. And Ashley Young less than impressed with the attention from Henrik Hansen.
Just watch his feet there, fantastic. Go on, see ya. He has to foul him in the end, and then steps on him. That's what Ashley got upset about.
So Odense making a change with Rundstrom, the former Fulham man, going off, and on comes Anders Jakobsen, who's only 18 and is one of only a few players who've come through their youth setup.
Normally they're snapped up by Premier League clubs or Italian clubs if they're any good at that age. So it's very difficult to hold on to them young players in Denmark.
Akbon Lahore up against Haaland. Here's Petrov, and Jakobsen just on, has dispossessed Ilian Petrov. Disappointingly for Villa. Espen Ruud. Bolanos. Jemba. And Espen Ruud won't quite get to that.
Nice, pretty football, but it just fizzles out on them on a regular basis. And when you look back to the chance Fall had in the first half with his left foot when he was clean through, it's cost them dearly. They have to take chances when they get them. Playing against teams like Aston Villa, and they had the chance and missed it. Obviously, Taylor made a good save with his left hand. Apart from that, them are the two chances that could have actually gotten through the tie. But there's an example for all the young strikers out there why you should practice your left foot.
Akbon Lahore. Villa looking for a second goal to seal it. Rio Coker testing Anishko.
It's a good strike from Rio Coker. He's just tried to cut across that so it fades into the far corner. Keeper's in the right place again. His handling's good. Impressed with the keeper again today.
Gardner's throw for Carew. Corner.
He's just too strong for them two centre-backs, Carew. They're getting far too close to him, the two of them. You know, you have to say, I'd be saying to him anyway, listen, you know, he's a big man, you can't outmuscle him. Stand back, let him get hold of it and try and poke the ball off him. But they're getting so tight to him, he's just muscling him off the ball. They've had a problem with him all afternoon.
The Villa fans applaud Gareth Barry, and he applauds them. Barry's corner is cleared by foul. He's got it back, though. Not so good that time from Barry, cleared by Haaland. Gardner. One more round to get through the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup before Aston Villa make it into the competition proper. Offside here against Gabi Bonglahor.
I think he was just offside, but it was very, very close. Is it good anticipation from Agbonlahor? He's got to play off. You know, if I was out there, I'd be using Carew all the time. His little flick-ons, little nudges. Use Carew's strength to benefit yourself.
Bolanos. Djemba. Hansen. A terrific turnout at Villa Park today. 31,423 watching Aston Villa about to advance in Europe.
Well, I know I keep saying to you, this is a great club. It's a big club, and you're just waiting. It's sleeping, sitting there waiting and waiting. They've only got to get us some sort of team on the pitch that's really exciting, which they're nearly there. Another couple of steps, and this place, they could have a 60,000-seater stadium and they'd fill it.
Yes, high time that Villa realised their potential. They've been a nearly club for too long, but that may change now that Martin O'Neill is getting to grips with them. Free kick for Odense.
What Martin has done, he's given them a couple of good finishes, and all the supporters who were thinking of going and supporting someone else, they're collecting them. The young kids who start off in football, they look at Ashley Young there today. I'm going to be a Villa supporter. And the collecting supporters now, they need to step on the next step. Mr. Lerner's got plenty of cash, I think.
Fair amount.
Give it to Mr. O'Neill.
Sorensen then is going to whip this free kick in. Craig Gardner away, only as far as Christian Bolanos. Now Espen Ruud. Sorensen still over there, having taken the free kick. Odense need to show a bit more urgency. It's hit and hope time for them, really, because they have to score twice. 1-1 at 90 minutes would not be good enough. Villa would be through on away goals, as if Villa yet to concede.
Well, Rio Coker's just kicked that ball into the space. I would have liked to seen him just turn out with that ball. Give it back to Gardner, don't panic. Play it into midfield, play it back to the centre-backs, keep the ball off them. They have trouble keeping the ball for more than 5 or 6 passes.
Haaland. Jakobsen. Sorensen. Djemba. Here's Ruud, now Bolanos. Booted away by Zat Knight. Next up for Villa, it's a trip to Reading for a friendly at the Medeski Stadium next Saturday. By then they will know who their opponents will be in the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup. The draw's made on Friday in Nyon. Sorensen. That's bobbled off Hansen. Odense heading out.
Odense is struggling for ideas, really. You know, when Villa sit back, they try and pass the ball, they try and make the right runs. Just lack of quality, and really they've run out of ideas, and I think the game's going to fizzle out with the scoreline remaining the same.
Aston Villa are about to embark on their 99th season in the top flight. Only Everton can better that. And they would dearly love an extensive European campaign as well. The last minute of the 90. Job done, but a second goal would be fun. Gardner.
Just got to keep the ball there. I mean, giving the ball away again. I don't understand why Craig Gardner didn't come out and give that ball to Zach Knight. If Larsson's not on, then you use your goalkeeper, go out the other side. It's a lot easier when you've got the ball.
Bolanos. Jemba. And we're about to go into just 2 minutes of added on time. Well, 2 minutes if there's not a further delay here.
Bit of concern going around the stadium now. Ashley Young, I think, just getting a bit of cramp. He lifted his leg up in the air, similar to Boma there. That's the way Boma was holding his leg, as if he had cramp in his hamstring. But fortunately, different outcome. Ashley Young's up and about. He's their star player. They won't want him to get injured at this stage.
Well, Martin O'Neill did have Sean Maloney on standby, a player who went all the way to the UEFA Cup final with O'Neill at Celtic. He's not going to get much of a run out if he gets one at all.
No, personally, I'd take him off now, Ashley.
Nigel Rio-Coker. Ashley Young is going to stay on to see it out. Not much left in the tanks out there now. Rio-Coker, though, will keep going. A day of ups and downs for Villa. Brad Friedel completing his move from Blackburn on a 3-year deal. Ashley Young scoring a stunner, but Wilfred Baumer dislocating an ankle.
Larsson's had a good game. Zach Knight's been done once over the top. Apart from that, he's done well. Gardner's done well. Barry's come on and done well. To be fair, you know, they've done the job. And the crowd will go home happy.
Last chance for Odense, but remember they need to score twice. Jakobsen, it's come off him though, hasn't it? Yes, goal kick, and that should be that. And Villa will progress. Ashley Young's goal, proving decisive in his second leg. And it was a cracker into the top corner from Ashley Young. It put Martin O'Neill's men through to the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup, and if they get through that, they're in the competition proper. But what a let-off in the first half. GB foul, broke clear of Zach Knight, should have scored, didn't. Villa survived that, phew. And early in the second half, wham! Ashley Young rather, with one of his best goals ever, putting Aston Villa through and continuing their European adventure. It ends Aston Villa 1, Odense 0, and Villa winning 3-2 on aggregate.